So, today's episode is all about how to use platforms to fuel agency growth. We have Sean Barber from Pluto Healthcare. Hello, Sean. Sean is an operator owner of one of the fastest growing healthcare staffing firms in the industry, started in 2019 and has already grown to almost 40 million in revenue. He thinks differently from thousands of others in the industry and is often helping others on forums like the American Staffing Association. Not only does he know what he's doing in the industry, but he's also a wonderful human to interact with. So if you haven't met him already, I encourage it. So, Sean, first of all, tell us a little bit about Pluto. How long have you guys been around? What kind of placements do you do?
Sure. First off, I don't know if I agree with everything that was said, but I do the best I can. But yeah, Pluto, we're a younger company. We got started pretty late in 2019. Our goal was to provide travel nursing and travel allied services here in the United States, and we kind of had a thesis. Me and the other founder had kind of differing experiences within much larger healthcare staffing organizations. Andy on the front side of the business, me kind of on the back side of the business, and just felt like we had a philosophy and a strategy that the market would be receptive to, and started, like I said, just after Labor Day here in the U.S. With no nurses and no clients, and have grown pretty rapidly over the last 2.5 years. Didn't do very much revenue wise in 2019. 2020 was a pretty big jump up from that, and then I think the thesis that we came out with was really came through on in 2021, and yeah, we finished the year just south of $40 million of revenue in 2021, and our run rate at the end of the year is higher than that. So we have pretty big aspirations for what we can accomplish in 2022 and beyond.
Yeah, you guys are amazing. He's not on the call, but we'll give a little shout out to Andy Cooper. If he was on the call, he'd probably be eating something. I find every time I'm meeting with him, he's always in the meal.
Something very healthy.
So yes, or effective. He's a great guy though. But the topic of the episode is growth. So can you tell us about how much you've grown in the past 1-2 years?
Yeah, I mean, we had pretty ambitious growth. I think we had maybe hit 10 concurrent healthcare professionals by the end of 2019, probably around 100 by the end of 2020. And then now we're sitting at, I think, just north of 350 concurrently working healthcare professionals. So it's been pretty substantial growth. But as anybody who has been in the industry for a while probably knows, it's a lot easier to grow once you have more people on assignment. Performance of a company mirrors the performance of a recruiter, and you're getting a lot more word of mouth, a lot more referrals, and a lot more momentum once you break through kind of the early stages of things. And but as kind of we know, and why I'm talking to you, what has gotten us to where we are now is not necessarily what's going to take us beyond where we're at now and kind of to that next level of growth. So we're always reevaluating what we're doing and trying to iterate on the business, and we never think that we've made it. So we kind of feel dumb a lot of the time, and that's been a big source of continued growth, because we always are trying to improve things within the business.
Too humble. I know this is kind of a complicated question, but what would you attribute that growth to?
I would say a variety of things. One, it doesn't matter how good your overall strategy as a business is if you can't execute very well. So we've got a really good team, a really good staff, and we're very, very focused on highly outperforming the whatever the standard metrics are for the business, whether that's from a compliance perspective, on-time starts and fall-offs. I know industry average for that is anywhere from 20 to 30% of every assignment that's signed ends in a fall off or a push start. Our rate on that is less than 1%, with now at this point some pretty substantial volume, and that's just a credit to the emphasis that we've placed on the compliance department. So our yield on our recruitment efforts is much higher than I think a lot of the competition. And then really, I think we just have a good strategy, and our goal is to be value additive, and focus our efforts in areas that we choose to compete and not just chase, high bill rates or chase where nurses want to go. It's almost an old school approach where we're very focused on servicing the needs of our clients first and not looking to recruit from a candidate first measure. So the question we ask when we work with nurses is not, well, where do you want to go? By the time we're having that engagement with a candidate, we're selling them on where we want to place them. And to the extent that they're not interested in that, then that's totally okay, because there are dozens and dozens and dozens of other agencies that are out there to fit the needs of somebody who wants to have more of a travel adventure. We're very oriented towards serving clients in difficult to staff, not very exciting areas, and that's been pretty meaningful for our clients, and why I think we've been able to scale up where we've chosen to scale up.
Wow. Yeah, I don't remember the number off the top of my head right now, but I feel like this is a number you might even know, but the number of agencies that are now in the industry is it's astronomical. But so what elements do you think are critical to maintaining that growth?
I think constantly questioning what you're doing is one of them, which I kind of alluded to earlier, mentioned earlier. I think the other thing is the people that are making those decisions and really driving internal transformation within the organization really have to be leading from the front. They really need to understand the reality on the ground as to what a candidate is experiencing, what a recruiter is experiencing. They need to understand that chain of events at a very granular level. And it's not enough to kind of sit in a back office and look at dashboards. And there's definitely a place for that type of management. But if you're not aware of everything that's happening, you miss the little nuances and the little changes and the little tweaks that are occurring in our industry from a recruitment or a candidate inflow perspective, because the industry is evolving at an extremely rapid pace. How we recruit today is dramatically different than how we recruit when we started in late 2019, and it's light years ahead of where it was in 2015, 2016. So the farther away the individuals are that are making change decisions are from the realities of those changes, the worse it is for the organization as a whole. So I think that's something that we've been very, very cognizant of, is not ruling from kind of an ivory tower and making decisions that sound good, but really trying to understand all of the ins and outs of how that decision will percolate down through the organization, and only doing things that we believe strongly will result in a clear benefit to everybody involved.
Yeah, you guys definitely have that forward thinking mindset as well, that what's next, what do we have to do, how is that going to work, whatever it may be. Obviously one of those things was implementing a staffing platform. So what made you decide to implement a staffing platform amidst all this growth?
Sure. So we attended the SIA's Healthcare Staffing Summit in Boston this past year, and we were feeling pretty good coming into the conference. Obviously, we've had some tremendous growth and some tremendous success, and I think largely I think the theme of the conference this past year was kind of the future of healthcare staffing, and it was I think very, very terrifying to me personally to kind of see what other competitors and businesses that we aspire to build Pluto in kind of an image of were running out into the market. Very scary to see the innovation that they were driving, the tools that they were employing, and how they were moving forward in the industry. And I think I was a little rattled for probably 24 hours, and then dedicated myself to I never wanted to feel like that again. So obviously I was at a great place to talk to a lot of people and see kind of what we could do to mitigate that. And that's when we got connected to you guys and TimeSaved, and really just started to develop what we thought the next phase of the business could be. And what we needed to do so that our organization is no longer playing catch up to people that are pushing things forward in the industry, but we can be right there at the cusp with everybody. And once we're there, we can start innovating on our own. But it's very hard to be an innovator and a change driver if you're always, 6 months or a year or 2 years behind people that are actually pushing things forward in the industry. So that was something where we believe strongly that that's the future of the industry. And if that's the future of the industry, we need to do everything we can internally to put ourselves in a position to be at the forefront of that wave and not get left behind.
Yeah, I have a hunch that's what that mindset right there is where you're so successful. Like you said, we met.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe we met at Healthcare Staffing Summit. Was there anything else that you witnessed there that kind of spurred this decision?
No, I mean, I think it was a great wake up. I mean, a lot of the everything was oriented around what do things look like in the future, and that's exactly how I think intelligent business leaders should think about things. Is today, obviously, you have to execute on a day-to-day basis, but execution always needs to be in service of strategy. And if you don't have a good long-term strategy, or you don't know what your long-term strategy is, or what the problem you're trying to solve, or what value you're trying to add to the market, you kind of get lost in the day-to-day. And you could be a great executor, but if it doesn't amount to anything, then it's not really that meaningful. It's not sustainable. So we're trying to create long-term value in our business by delivering value over a long period of time to our clients, and seeing, all the different evolutions that people that are very smart have been in the industry for a long time, or people that are very smart and are entering the industry from other industries like VC or more tech, and seeing kind of how they're thinking about things and where they're trying to drive things. There's no question that that's the way the industry is going. That's what candidates are going to want going forward. And it's also what clients are going to want. And people will evolve with that and prosper, I think, or they can kind of continue to try to do things business as usual. And I don't think that's the right play in a market that's evolving as quickly as the healthcare staffing market.
For sure. You know what, to add on to that too, it's one of the, when I'm talking to new clients now, like two of the biggest reasons why people are, I'm like, hey, why'd you come to TimeSaved? Why are we having this conversation? It's because the candidates are actually asking for it. It's either that the candidates are asking them for an app, or it's the fact that their competitors are doing it and now they're losing out to their competitors. So you don't want to be behind, you want to be right there with them.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So you must have talked to other providers. Can I get you to share why, what was it about TimeSaved that you wanted to partner with us?
I think with any technology adoption, it's important to understand that you're not just adding a bauble to your business so that you can say that you have an app or you're tech enabled. It really needs to be something that captures the essence of what your organization does from a recruiting or candidate experience standpoint, and becomes an actually a tech enabled and value additive extension of the positive things that you're already doing as an organization. And I think evaluating the providers, TimeSaved seemed they seemed flexible enough as a obviously there's a build versus buy decision to make when you're considering software. And from a buy perspective, I felt like TimeSaved and you guys had the flexibility and the attention to work a solution that added to not only what you had already built out, but what Pluto did from a recruitment standpoint, to where we could capture the essence of what we run our candidates through, but do it in a way that's tech enabled and repeatable and sustainable. So I just felt strongly about that, and we act very decisively at Pluto to do things. So there's no reason to have a 6, 9, 12-month review or trial period with a variety of providers. I want to make a decision that I feel good about as quickly as I can, so that we can start not being behind where other people are as quickly as we can. It doesn't do us much good to wait 12 months to do something, because everything is going to be 12 months farther along by the time we get around to rolling something out. So a good decision made today, I think, is always better than the best possible reasoned decision that you're going to make, next year. So we really just jumped 2 feet forward because we believed in the fundamentals and the thesis of tech enabling the business that way.
We're excited to be partnered with you, that's for sure. You're unique because you're both an owner and an operator. So most folks that we talk to either fall into one bucket or the other. So from your perspective, what are some key areas you see opportunity for tech to help?
Definitely from a candidate experience standpoint, and a candidate engagement standpoint, there are a lot of platforms or tech platforms that are entering the space or have entered the space and have done a very good job of probably being profitable. I'm not sure about their financials, but providers like Vivian and Wanderly offered when they came out and still are offering a pretty positive solution for aggregating candidates that are interested in traveling and then selling access to them to agency providers. I think personally, the way of the future is going to be what a lot of the people that are really growing fast are already doing now is creating their own ecosystems, and the travelers that are attracted to those ecosystems are going to be attracted to them based on what the agency does, what the agency's thought process and thesis is, and there's not going to be a reason for them to want to go to a platform that's selling access to a variety of agencies, because at the end of the day, people I think are getting a little fed up with getting bombarded with text messages and notifications and emails from dozens and dozens of staffing agencies. And I think the way the tech ecosystem is going to go is you're going to find a lot more stickiness with the nurse relationships if you craft the appropriate ecosystem, and there becomes no reason for them to go anywhere else because they know the agency they're with is the agency that does the type of work that they want to do as well. And it's a match from that perspective.
Yeah, exactly. Candidates don't want to have to go to multiple agencies. They want to find a home and they want to stay there as long as you're going to take care of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
One last thing to add, you're so active on the ASA forums. Most ASA members are actually state industrial. Any advice for the non-healthcare staffing agencies?
I would say that when you say active, I mean, I might post, which on the forums might be active, but maybe once every couple weeks or something. And I only talk about things that I actually know about. I don't opine or give my opinion as to what somebody should do. If somebody asks a question that I feel like I have a really good answer to, I'll try to provide that or reach out to people. And that's a great way that I find value too. It's just by reading the daily newsletter, seeing kind of what people are posting about. And, not every day, but every couple of weeks, somebody will post something or mention something, and it's not something I thought about, or it's not something I'd heard about before. And it enables me to add something to my list to do that day to check out. And not every time is it worth my time to check it out, but there have been definitely more than a handful of times that something another owner or executive mentioned or was concerned about was something that was pertinent to Pluto that we've been able to put in place that have spanned, things from risk mitigation in the organization to a new vendor tool that we should reach out to, or something to think about from a sales perspective. So I think it just comes back to not ever thinking that you're smarter than everybody else, or not thinking that you kind of, oh yeah, I kind of know things. If you approach things with the desire to continuously learn and humble yourself to that, that's where I find value in it. And it's just a couple minutes a day, and I've gotten a lot out of it.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know what you don't know already, right? It's also a great way to meet connections as well, just kind of learning from others in the industry, meeting some people that you might not have ever met before. Yeah.
And the other thing that's interesting about it too is there's less activity than you would think, but a lot of people do read it. So when I was at the healthcare staffing summit, I had a lot of people come up to me and say, "Hey, I really enjoy reading your messages," or "It's really cool that you're really active." And I had never engaged with them on the platform or anything like that, but people read it. So it's nice to have that um, basis. It's always good to make connections. You never know when somebody might be able to help you or you might be able to help somebody else. So I think that's important for from a networking perspective as well.
Nice little icebreaker too. You know what? Someone at the same conference came up to me and they're like, Brooke, I saw you post. Like, I've always wanted to, like get in touch with you. I was like, I kind of feel like a celebrity for a quick sec there.
Yeah.
But anything else, that's it for me today anyways. But anything else you want to kind of share with um any last pieces of information, knowledge from Sean?
I just really think that the industry is rapidly evolving. COVID, I think, showed the importance of the industry, as well as the kind of the pretty substantial market opportunity that exists within healthcare staffing. And I think there's going to be a pre-COVID and a post-COVID in a very real way. And it's going to be very interesting to see what happens after things return to whatever the new baseline for normal is. And things are very, very different now from what candidates want, from what technology is available. And if you're not kind of trying to make that evolution for your own business and at least trying over time, you're not gonna be run out of business in 6 months or a year or 2 years, but there will be a steady attrition of your market share, I think, to other competitors that are following and mapping their businesses more in line with where the industry is going. And that's not a position that we want to be in. So we're going to try to be an innovator and drive things forward so we can capitalize on what we've done thus far and hopefully take things to the next level.
Next level. Thank you so much, Sean. Like I said, Sean is an exceptional human being. So if you want to pick his brain or, just make that connection, I'm sure he wouldn't mind. But other than that, thank you so much for joining today, Sean.
No, thank you, Brooke. Really appreciate the opportunity.